The studio lights of The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson burned brighter than usual that night. Or maybe it just felt that way. Backstage, John Wayne, the man the world knew as the Duke, stood still for a moment longer than he should have. His broad shoulders, once unshakable, now carried something heavier than any role he had ever played. In his hand, he held a small handkerchief crumpled tight. From the stage, the familiar voice of Johnny Carson echoed, warm and steady. "Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest, a true American legend, please welcome John Wayne." The audience erupted into applause. Wayne stepped out slowly. The cheers grew louder, but something was different. The man who once walked like the ground belonged to him now moved carefully, like every step required effort. His smile came late, and when it didn't quite reach his eyes. Johnny met him halfway, shaking his hand with both of his. "It's an honor, Duke," Johnny said softly. Wayne nodded. "Good to be here, Johnny." They sat. For a moment the applause faded, and silence crept in, an unusual thing for a show built on laughter. Johnny leaned forward. "You've played some of the strongest men we've ever seen on screen, but tonight you seem a little tired." Wayne let out a slow breath. "I reckon I am," he said, voice low, gravelly. "A man gets to a certain point and he starts remembering more than he's living." The audience grew quiet. Johnny didn't interrupt. Wayne looked down at his hands. "You spend your whole life pretending to be invincible," he continued. "Fighting wars on screen, winning every time. Folks start to believe it. Maybe you do too." He paused, swallowing hard. "But real life, it don't give you retakes." The words hung heavy in the air. Johnny nodded gently. "Is something weighing on you tonight?" Wayne's jaw tightened. He stared out at the audience, hundreds of faces, all watching the man they thought they knew. "I lost a friend," he said quietly, "not long ago." A murmur passed through the crowd. "He wasn't famous," Wayne added. "Didn't wear no costumes, just a good man. Better than most of the heroes I ever played." His voice cracked slightly, just enough for everyone to hear. "And when he was going, I couldn't do a thing about it." Johnny leaned in, his voice softer now. "That's hard, Duke." Wayne nodded. "All my life, I've been the guy who rides and fixes things, saves people." He let out a bitter half-smile. "But when it mattered most, I was just a man, standing there, useless." A long silence followed. The audience didn't clap, they didn't move. For once, The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson wasn't about jokes or applause. It was about truth. Johnny looked at him carefully. Maybe being there wasn't useless. Wayne looked up. Johnny continued, "Maybe that's what matters in the end." Wayne's eyes softened. For a brief second, the tough exterior cracked, revealing something raw and human beneath. "I hope so," he whispered. Another pause. Then unexpectedly, Wayne smiled, small but real this time. "You know, Johnny, all those years playing cowboys," he said, glancing at the floor, "I thought courage meant never backing down." He looked back up. "But maybe it just means showing up, even when you know you can't win." Johnny nodded, his own eyes glistening. "I think that's the bravest thing there is." The audience finally responded, not with loud cheers but with quiet, heartfelt applause. Wayne leaned back in his chair, the weight on his shoulders not gone, but lighter. For the first time that night, he didn't look like a legend. He looked like a man who had finally told the truth.